Hi, good evening. I'm Talia Lethbridge from On The Go Physio, the lead physiotherapist and director of the company, which is a mobile physiotherapy business that is around northwest London and southwest Hertfordshire predominantly. This evening I would like to talk to you about frozen shoulder, or as it's clinically referred to, adhesive capsulitis. According to the NHS website, 1 in 20 people will be affected at some point in their lifetime with frozen shoulder, in the UK that is. There is a possible link between diabetes, either type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and frozen shoulder, as well as thyroid issues and frozen shoulder. But that needs more research to definitively say whether that's so. There are a number of symptoms that one may complain of with frozen shoulder. Predominantly pain in and around this region here. We call this the lateral deltoid region, as well as issues or pain or discomfort when sleeping on that shoulder, whether that's to begin with or whether that is they roll over onto that affected shoulder in the middle of the night and then wake up with pain or discomfort in that side. As well as this, they may have issues with putting on their clothes, for the ladies doing up their bra, for the gents commonly it's tucking their shirt in behind them, or even driving, for the ladies and gents for driving with the gear stick changes, or steering wheel guiding it through the hands, or even keeping the arms up in that position over time can contribute to pain and discomfort in the affected shoulder or shoulders. Sometimes frozen shoulder does affect both sides. Now there are 3 stages within the frozen shoulder journey, if you like. The first stage is freezing, the second stage is frozen, and the third stage is thawing. In the first stage, a person will commonly complain of pain or discomfort primarily. The second stage, they will complain of pain as well as lack of movement. Sorry about that, that's just a firework going off in the background. The third stage is thawing, which is basically where one is over the worst and they're beginning to see that the rehabilitation has taken effect for the positive and they are showing signs of improvement. Interestingly, if one opted to have an x-ray to determine whether they don't have frozen shoulder, it would not show up on x-ray. The reason is because frozen shoulder affects the capsule or the soft tissue around the ball and socket joint or the shoulder, and does not primarily affect the bones of the shoulder. And x-rays look at the bones, so therefore it wouldn't show up. You may have heard or may hear some horror stories about frozen shoulder. It can affect you for as long as 2 years, especially if you read the Daily Mail or you peruse the website, or the internet I should say. You will come across a range of horror stories. Not to blow my own trumpet, but as soon as I start physiotherapy with someone who has frozen shoulder, whether they're in the first or the second stage of that whole cycle, on average I will discharge someone around 3 months after having started physio with them, so that is quite good results there. Not as long as 2 years. It is very rare, and my best guess would be that if frozen shoulder were lingering for that period of time, it's possible that they have other complications, or they didn't start physiotherapy for a long time, or they have other complications, as I said, so for example like diabetes or thyroid, as I touched on earlier. There are a number of treatments that are involved with treating or rehabilitating frozen shoulder. Number 1 is exercise, and that's what differentiates physiotherapists from other healthcare professionals, the rehab or exercise side of the treatment stages, and that includes exercises, number 1, to regain the range of movement, once the range of movement has been regained, to then focus on strengthening the shoulder, especially the rotator cuff muscle groups, which should never be underestimated. They are extremely important in supporting the ball and socket for instability issues as well. So for example, if you are someone who often hears that your shoulder clicks and clunks when you move your arm in certain positions, that is probably because the ball within the socket is moving around too much, because the surrounding rotator cuff muscles are weak and therefore not doing their job, and allowing this excessive translation to take effect, and that's why you can get clicking or clunking in the shoulder. But back to frozen shoulder itself, other therapeutic adjuncts I would do include acupuncture or dry needling, ultrasound as well, and also obviously some hands-on treatment as well, such as massage to try and loosen up the muscles on top of the shoulder there, or even into the neck, which can be affected further down the line. So if you have any questions, or you have heard that you may have frozen shoulder, or your treatment that you've been receiving for this condition is just not taking effect, and you've been threatened with a corticosteroid injection or surgery, such as a manipulation under anaesthetic or hydrodilatation, if these are words that ring true with you, then by all means, if you want to seek some professional advice, come to me. I'm very happy to talk to you. You can contact me through the website, which is www.onthegophysio.co.uk, or feel free to call me on 07977 502 546, or simply click like. My website is not appearing at the moment, but click like on my Facebook page, which is On The Go Physio, and you can get all the latest offers on treatments there. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.